black man stepped onto a flight one morning, thinking it would be just another long journey in the sky. He had no idea that within minutes of the meal service, chaos would explode, passengers would panic, and the airline's reputation would be shattered across the internet. And it all started with one meal tray. The plane took off smoothly. Passengers settled in with their headphones, some scrolling through their phones, others already dozing off. The black man leaned back, thankful for a quiet flight. Hours passed, and then the flight attendants began rolling out the food carts. The comforting smell of warm meals filled the cabin, but when his tray landed in front of him, something felt off. He peeled back the foil lid. At first glance, the meal looked fine, but then the smell hit him. Sharp, sour, spoiled. He froze. Everyone around him was already eating, laughing, chewing without a second thought. He hesitated, wondering, am I overthinking? Maybe it's just me. Still, hunger won. He lifted a forkful to his mouth. The taste was unbearable, spoiled, rotten, disgusting. His stomach churned instantly. The black man pressed the call button. The flight attendant leaned over, smiling professionally. He whispered politely, "I think this food has gone bad." But instead of concern, she chuckled dismissively. "Sir, it's fine. Everyone else is eating it." Then, without another word, she walked away. He sat there, stunned. The taste lingered in his mouth like poison, but her reaction stung even worse. He was the only black passenger in that section, and the thought crossed his mind. Did she just ignore me because of who I am? Minutes later, his doubt vanished. A child 2 rows ahead began crying, clutching his stomach. His mother called for help. Another passenger pushed his tray away, muttering that the food smelled like garbage. Soon, a woman gagged, covering her mouth. Heads turned. Noses wrinkled. One by one, passengers started realizing this wasn't just him. Something was very wrong. And then came the whispers. Quiet at first, then louder. He said it first. Why did they ignore him? If they had listened, none of us would have eaten it. Passengers looked at the black man, the one who had spoken up first, and saw the truth. The flight attendant who dismissed him suddenly looked pale, but it was too late. The cabin was unraveling. Fear spread faster than the turbulence. Passengers began raising their voices, demanding answers. Some grabbed their phones, recording everything. Social media posts started flying mid-air. Spoiled food on flight. Airline ignoring black passenger who warned first. The chaos wasn't just on the plane anymore, it was online, and the world was watching before the plane even touched the ground. The captain's voice came over the intercom. Calm, measured, but you could hear the tension in his tone. "Ladies and gentlemen, please remain calm. We are looking into the matter." That announcement only fueled the panic. What exactly was happening in the galley? Behind the curtains, crew members tore through the catering carts. Their faces gave it away. Shock, fear, disbelief. The meals were mishandled. Several trays were spoiled. But one stood out. The black man's tray was the worst. He sat there, silent now, watching. Then he asked a question that silenced the entire cabin. Why was I the only one told to just eat it? His voice was steady, but it carried weight. Everyone heard it. And no one, not the attendants, not the supervisors, had an answer. Phones kept rolling. Passengers rallied behind him. It was no longer just about spoiled food. It was about respect, dignity, and a pattern too many had seen before. By the time the wheels touched down, the damage was irreversible. Paramedics stormed the plane. Several passengers were treated for food poisoning symptoms. Airport officials demanded statements. Reporters were waiting at the gate. And online, the videos had exploded. Hashtags were trending worldwide, calling out the airline for negligence, discrimination, and endangering lives. The airline scrambled to issue an apology, but screenshots of passengers' videos drowned out their words. Lawsuits were already being prepared. News anchors debated it live on television. This wasn't just about one spoiled meal anymore. It had become a global scandal. And at the center of it all was one black man. the passenger who refused to stay silent, the man who asked the question no one could answer, "Why me?" This story is more than a headline. It's a reminder of how speaking up matters. It is about how ignoring someone's voice, especially when it comes from a place of truth, can spiral into something no one can control. Now let me ask you this. If you were in his seat, would you have spoken up, or would you have stayed quiet to avoid trouble? Be honest, drop your answer in the comments because I want to know how you would have handled it. And believe it or not, this isn't the only time an airline was caught in shocking scandals. The next one is even darker, but that's a story for another video.